exactly the right level of losing it, in our opinion. Victor Shee, our friend, tweeted, "Holy, Jamal Bowman is directly calling out Republican members of Congress as they walk out of the Capitol building right now. We need to confront and expose every one of them, make them answer. This is leadership and truly amazing." And Dr. Redlener said, "OMG, this is exactly precisely the absolutely relevant level of indignation and anger that has been justifiable for a long, long time. Every responsible member of Congress and every state government representative should join the fight. Enough BS pussyfooting around. Thank you, Representative Bowman." Yes, among his very long list of credits we will hear, he is a renowned pediatrician. Oh, goodness. Hi, Dr. Redlener. Sorry to be talking about such a terrible subject.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, he cannot hear us. Can you hear us, Doc? Uh-oh, he's frozen. Dr. Redlener. Dr. Redlener. Okay.
Let's change our shots. Oh, are you back? We're back.
Hey, Doc.
Back.
There you are.
There we are. Yay.
Again, sorry it's just such a depressing subject. You know, you've been over helping, of course, kids in Ukraine. And was it the last, I can't remember now when Uvalde happened. And you were, because obviously you're called on to comment on a lot of things as a pediatrician, as someone that's, worked with children for years and years and years. And it's just, here we are again, right?
Yeah, actually it was May of last year when Uvalde happened, and I was actually in Lviv, Ukraine, and I was about to give a report to MSNBC about what I was seeing in Lviv, and I ended up having to comment, actually wanting to comment about the shooting in Uvalde. And this is something I've been it's been part of my agenda for many years. In fact, I've testified to the Senate on this subject years ago, and it's a phenomenon that is without any sense of righteous, appropriate behavior by the American governmental leadership from top to bottom. There's been obviously there's been Democrats who have supported significant changes in our gun laws, but they've never been strong enough to overpower the gun lobbies who control the Republican Congress. And it's a disaster for America's children. It's just as terrifying.
As a pediatrician, I know you're not surprised, but it really is a different level of depressing that guns has become the number one killer of American children, overtaking cars, right?
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to contemplate it. We're used to dealing with medical issues that we could either treat or we could provide a vaccine and prevent and so on. But the only prevention here, which is really what's needed, because you can't really treat a child who's been shot with an assault rifle and the caliber bullets that are used in those. I had been early in my career a pediatric intensive care unit director of a big pediatric facility in Miami, Florida. But the point is that the treatment idea is absurd, and what you have to do is prevent it. And you don't prevent it medically, you have to prevent it politically. And we seem not to be able to get our hands around this and actually solve it.
Yeah.
And they talk about common sense gun laws. I think that's BS also, by the way.
Yeah.
I think we need very significant gun laws, not the so-called little tweaking of the gun laws. We cannot allow AR-15s to be manufactured and sold, and there should be a fine associated with people who own them. They have to turn them in. I wish there was a government buyback program for ARs, and I think that should be proposed, but we need a lot more extreme measures here.
Yeah.
It's too late, little tweaking or modifications of gun laws.
Doc,
too late right now.
Right. Yeah, Doc, you've obviously just said, as a ER, as a pediatrician, you've treated gunshot wounds, and we've been, this discussion has come up again about Emmett Till's mother and about whether seeing autopsy photos, crime scene photos, whatever, what's going to move the needle. I mean, as you said, we're not used to seeing the level of anger that Jamal Bowman, demonstrated yesterday. But what does move them, shake anything up, move the needle?
Voting.
Yeah.
You cannot be represented in the Senate, in the House, in the state legislatures by people who don't understand the severity of this problem and this plague on America's children. If they don't understand it and won't take significant measures to deal with it, they do not deserve to represent you.
Everybody was talking about this Representative Burchett, his name is from Tennessee, who just literally came out and said, we're not going to fix this. This is nothing more we can do. And then Republican Mike Rounds, take a listen to this yesterday.
I put myself in a position where I look at those families and I see these things, and I look at my colleagues up here, and there isn't anybody here that, if they could find the right approach, wouldn't try to do something because they feel that pain. And yet, when we start talking about bans or challenging on the Second Amendment, I think the things that have already been done have gone about as far as we're going to with gun control.
It's pretty stark to hear you say that you don't think there's anything else legislatively that Congress can do when it comes to guns. You voted against the gun safety legislation that was passed and signed into law last year.
I mean, that's it. We've done all we're going to do, right?
We're not going to. Yeah, he couldn't hear.
Oh, you can't hear the audio. I'm sorry. He said we've gone as far as we're going to go. We've done all we can do on guns, right?
Yeah, I get the gist of that. And the other thing, this issue with the Second Amendment, I'm sick of it. It's complete misinterpretation of what is written in the Constitution. It's written in English, and it's interpreted in some gibberish to think that we somehow have the equivalent of a militia that the founding fathers were writing about. We don't have that. We just have maniacs who think they need combat weapons in their house. Yeah. And that has nothing to do with the intent or even the words that were actually written in the Second Amendment. I'm so frustrated with this.
The disconnect, I have to hope you're right about voters, that the disconnect between guns becoming the number one killer of children and Republicans literally out loud saying, not going to fix it, done everything we can do. Really? You've done everything you can do, and it's the number one killer of children.